Dr. Cheryl, I cannot get my man to talk to me about the difficult stuff. He runs away. He's a turtle. What can I do about it? Welcome to your summer of love. All summer long, I'm answering your love and sex questions, but check below if you want to email me one, I'll answer yours. And this was from Sarah, who says her guy is terrified of conflict. Not just terrified of fights and raised voices and all the ugly stuff. He can't even talk about, should we change our mortgage to get a different rate? Do you think we should add something onto the bathroom? I'm a little bit worried about our son. He's not doing well in math. Do you think we should get a tutor? Cannot handle it. Now let me bust a myth. People tend to think couples who don't argue are healthy. Not true. The research is pretty clear. You've got to learn how to fight fair. You've got to learn how to be able to communicate about big decisions and also about the tough stuff. You know the top 3 things couples fight about based on research and your life? Money, the kids, and your sex life. If you can't talk about those and other topics in a reasonably helpful way, then you're in trouble. But don't worry, I'm here all summer long and for my entire career to help couples just like you and just like me and my sweetheart figure out how to do better about talking about the tough stuff. Okay, first thing you need to learn, how you start a conversation highly predicts how the conversation's going to go. In the first 7 minutes of a conversation, in business and certainly with your sweetheart, if you come in irritable, if you come in hot, as they say, if you come in accusatory, it's going to go right off the rails, hardly surprisingly, and you're not going to really get anywhere. Now, your hubby, like so many of the people, men and women watching, gay, straight, trans, this applies to human beings, just happens that this is a woman in a heterosexual relationship that said her man runs away from conversations about the tough stuff. We run away from tough conversations because we don't want to have something bad happen. We don't want to argue with you, feel distant from you, feel hurt, have silent treatment overnight. We're afraid to talk about the tough stuff. Some of us aren't. Some of us, like myself, is more of a fighter than a flighter, and I will attack it too often not very kindly and in ways that don't work. So here's your tip. Like I said, the first few seconds are going to predict how comfortable or uncomfortable your sweetheart feels. Your guy hates to talk about tough stuff. So let's say you need to talk to him about, I just made that one up a few minutes ago, right? Your son is really struggling in math and you need to talk to your hubby about what to do, maybe get a tutor. If you go, we've got to talk about Johnny, he's flunking math and I need you involved, it's gonna fall apart, you know that. No wonder he's avoiding conflict if he's already afraid of it. But if you come in and go, hey babe, need to talk to you about Danny, it could be a little bit stressful, but let's take a minute. I just really need your input as his dad on what you think we should do about the fact that he's struggling in math. That's called, in some versions of couples therapy, the Gottman method calls that a softened startup. I call it goddamn common sense, which is if you start up more kindly and more openly, your man's a little less likely to bolt from the room. This is what I teach couples in my online immersion program. I'm opening the doors to that in October this year. I'm only teaching it once this year. Usually I teach it twice. You're gonna hear lots more about that coming up, but it's a 12-week program with me, with weekly curriculum, weekly live calls with me, and we spent the first 5 of the 12 weeks teaching in great depth what I'm referring to today, which is how to talk about tough stuff successfully. How to be able eventually to talk about the biggest, most painful things in your relationship and get somewhere, that you understand each other better afterward, that you feel more understood, etc. So here's your tip for today, because it's all about tips and techniques. If you want to get fit, if you want to learn how to build a set of stairs off your deck yourself, do it yourself, you need to get tips on what to do. The tip is watch how you start the conversation. Rehearse it in your head a little bit so it's a little more kind. Use a kind tone of voice. Invite your partner into the conversation about Johnny flunking out of math. And then, this is going to blow your mind because it's so simple, but we forget. Listen without interrupting. Can I have a Hail Mary, hell yes? Listen without interrupting, especially because your guy finds it difficult to talk about stuff. Give him space to breathe. Look at him and do what I like to say, make sympathetic noises. So your guy's saying, well, I was bad at math too, and I don't think we have the money for a tutor, and sometimes I think maybe he's just not trying. And you're like, well, he's really trying, he's upset. Boom, he's gonna run away. And who blames him in a way? Instead, go, yeah, okay, babe. Anything else? Make sympathetic noises. It's a beautiful thing to do to anyone you care about when you're talking with them. Listen and sort of say, yeah, or wow, that sounds tough. And that helps your partner know you're listening, you care, and they've got time to breathe and articulate what they want to articulate about a difficult decision or a tricky topic, or even what do you want to have for dinner. So trust me, I'm not blaming those of us who are maybe more verbal, more verbally adept, and also sometimes tougher. We interrupt a lot. We've got all the answers. We intimidate our less chatty partner. It's not your fault. It's not their fault. You're a team. You want to find a way to communicate about the tough stuff together. This is an incredibly important predictor of happiness and success in long-term relationships. And the bad news is couples who don't learn how to talk well about conflict and difficult things have a much higher likelihood of divorce. So you got to take this very seriously. Look, if you're intrigued with the idea of maybe joining me on this exclusive 12-week journey this fall, you can click below and get on the wait list, just to reassure you. Totally no obligation. If you're on the wait list, we send you the occasional goodie to kind of let you know what's happening, and we open the doors to you earlier than to the general public for you to learn more about the program. I also teach an amazing 2-hour free couples workshop. I'll be teaching that several times in October, and you'll be the first to be able to sign up for that and just learn a whole bunch more tips and techniques like you're getting this summer for free. And then a few of you might choose to join me for what I've been told by about 500 couples now is a life-changing 12-week journey. But for now, make sympathetic noises, don't interrupt, and invite your partner into the conversation with a softer tone of voice and more kind and welcoming words. There you have it. If you have a question you'd like answered in a video or on my podcast, send it to me in the email below, and I would love to help you and every couple on the planet till we're all living in perfect harmony. See you next week. Bye for now.